Alright, in this video we're going to replace the control arm on a Volvo XC90. This should be valid for all Volvos 2004 to 2012. I've already done some preliminary work by soaking the nuts and bolts with some penetrating oil overnight. So as you can see, there are three mounting points. There's a bolt that just goes straight through on the rear, and then there are two bolts that go through on the front one, and the threads are here, so it's a through hole in the frame, and then the bolt threads onto the control arm. And then the bottom is the ball joint for the strut. The front bushing mounting bolts are a little bit tricky, but I was able to get a 15 millimeter socket on there with my breaker bar. I didn't have a 1/2 inch 15 millimeter, so I had to use an adapter, and with the penetrating oil that was enough to break it loose. See, I was able to break it loose. Sorry for the bad camera work, but as you can see, it's pretty tight there. So, and then I was going to use a universal to get them the rest of the way out. This one I might be able to get the impact wrench on, but I'll probably just do the same thing. For the rear, I mean, the bolt is easily accessible, just a wrench on top and impact the bolt on the bottom. Should come right out. Then the ball joint, just break the ball joint like you do normally, you know, with any other one. Take the nut off and separate them. So on the passenger side, I was able to get my breaker bar onto the forward bolt. And for the rear bolt, I had to use an angled spanner here. So in order to break it loose here, because of this AC line running through here, I didn't want to have to move it. Alright, so I moved everything out of the way. When I do the other side, I'm going to take the brake disc off first. It's like stuck on there. So anyway, I disconnected everything and it just comes right out. So I'll just put the new one in and put everything back together. But I like to take everything apart, everything out of the way. The only thing I didn't take apart was the tie rod, which I guess I could have. I'm going to need an alignment anyway. Oh well. So, it's out. Alright, so the new one's in, and here's what I recommend doing. Starting the two front bolts. Just get those started, and then line up and put the bolt in the back through. And you see I need to put the nut on there. And then finally put the ball joint on there. Just put the wheel carrier onto the ball joint on the wheel carrier onto the control arm. So that's how it goes together. It's actually pretty easy if you're willing to take everything apart like that. Otherwise you might have to fight it. I had to push down really hard on the control arm in order to align these bolts up. I thought I was going to have to jack up the strut, but I was able to push it down, and I just used a punch to start it, get it aligned, and then I just got the bolts started. You can see they're kind of rounded a little bit. So once I got them started, I just pushed them on through. Yeah, check this out. Can't do that with the new one. Oh geez, this is even worse. Oh, well, that's not legit, but this is legit. So, yeah. Boing. Alright, so here's the new one. I mean, there is some play, but as you can see, the bench is moving, not the control arm. Alright, here's the other one. There's some flex, but as you can see, it's not as bad.